Hey guys, how's it going? My name is Taylor, and in today's video we're going to go ahead and talk about my first impressions of my 2007 Corvette Z06 that I picked up just about 2 months ago. Now if you're new to the channel, I picked this up in October of this year, and I have a video of the trip of when I went to pick it up, and then the following day I installed some wheels and lowered it. And now we're going to talk about everything that I think of the car 2 months later after taking it for a couple of drives and really experiencing it. So let's go ahead and start out with a cold start. And that cold start there leads us to our first comment on the car that I have noticed over the past 2 months, and that is the exhaust sound. It's just not that impressive for what you would expect of a 427 cubic inch LS motor with 505 horsepower from the factory. It just doesn't have the sound, at least at idle. When you do get on it and kind of get up above 4,000 or 5,000 RPMs, it does get throatier, but it is a relatively quiet car from the factory, and you know, that's totally okay. Me personally, I'm gonna make it a lot louder, and I'm gonna show you guys some stuff that I'm gonna do with that a little bit later in this video. But now let's just do a quick walk around of this thing idling. So as you can tell, it is very quiet. And this has the dual mode exhaust. Essentially there's a flapper in the exhaust that opens and closes with RPM, or you can pull the fuse out like this car has been done, and it is coming, the exhaust is coming out of all 4 tips. So this is as loud as it will ever be at idle stock with this setup. But I love the car. I have no regrets 2 months later. I just love looking at it. I don't think the camera does it much justice, but this thing, the body lines and the contours, I just think everything about it is so unique and just so sporty looking. I really enjoy this car. But anyways, let's go ahead and take it for a drive now. We'll do a proper kind of in-car review of it. So, some quick comments before we go out on the drive. This car, the interior, and you know, I knew this before I bought it, and a lot of people have complained about this over the years, but it's a very basic, simple interior. It's not very, you know, unique in a sense of extra stuff, you know. It's just very basic, and that is perfect, you know, for this car. This is a highly performance-oriented car with essentially no BS. I mean, this one has the 2LZ package, so it has heated seats, tilt and telescopic wheel, little stereo controls here, along with your memory seats and whatnot, but really not a whole lot of extra stuff that you would find in a modern car of today. This is a 2007. So it's not the most luxurious interior, but it is very nice for what it is, and I have no complaints about it whatsoever for my plans with this car. When, you know, you think of something performance oriented, sometimes less is more when it comes to all this extra stuff that just adds weight to the car. So let's head out. So that we're getting into comments pretty quick, but I've noticed when driving this car and around the street it's fine, but if you're at low speed turning in a parking lot, you know, at sharp steering angle, it seems like the wheels kind of, or the tires actually skid across the ground. It gets very notchy. It's kind of a strange sensation. Maybe somebody can let me know in the comments. I'm gonna do a U-turn here real quick. Just let me know what you think of this. I hope you can hear that. It's like bumping. I've never had this happen in a car before, but one other thing I've noticed. Slow it way down, straighten the wheel out a little bit, it goes away completely. Back to the drive. Just trying out a new camera angle here, see how it looks. But as I was saying, this car really is perfect for my plans of just kind of making a fun street car that I can take to the track, that doesn't go through tires and brakes incredibly quickly like my Hellcat did. get so bent out of shape. I've noticed on some of my other videos, like my Jack that I have and my old Mini Cooper that I had like a year ago, people just get their feelings hurt so quick as soon as you make any kind of comment about a car. So don't get offended by anything I have to say in this video. But I think one of the things that you'll notice is the road noise in the car. With the radio off, you can really hear the tires. You can hear rocks shooting up off the ground. So it's not as well insulated as some of the later C6 Corvettes. This being an 07, the 06 and 07 were pretty similar in regard to you know, the amount of insulation they used and whatnot. So this is a very light car, and it just doesn't have a whole lot of insulation, so you do hear that road noise. That's just another thing to take note of if you're looking at buying one of these cars. Again, not the most luxurious car, but with performance in mind, it is incredible. So let's open it up a little bit here. So as you can probably tell from the camera shaking around, this thing doesn't get very good traction. It's really cold out. So obviously that is one of the main reasons, but it'll just spin the tires so easily. It's really fun to drive. I have a blast with this thing. Well, as you can probably see over there, there is snow in the fields up here in North Idaho, so I wanted to make this video today because this is probably one of the last occasions I'm going to be able to drive this car for the next several months before it gets taken apart and stored for winter. To the shop real quick, and I'll kind of walk you guys through the car a little more in depth, and then we'll talk about the plans for it this winter. All right, it's getting kind of dark on us quick, but I figured I'd take you through some of the stuff of the car. The doors are actually opened electronically. They have these little actuators here, so when the door's shut, you stick your hand behind here and pop on this little rubber button, and they pop open. They also have a little emergency door pull actuated by a cable on the floor, just in case you can't get out of the car. And then door buttons here for opening it day-to-day use when your battery's not dead or something, instead of popping with this. It's got a nice pedal set in it. Definitely good for performance driving. Got that shift knob again. I thought this had a short throw shifter in it when I bought it. It turns out somebody just threw a knob on here. The throw is actually pretty darn long, so I'm gonna go ahead and put a short throw in this. And this knob is really big. It's like almost the size of a cue ball when you're playing pool. So I'm gonna try to get something a little bit smaller, just a kind of a handful. But all in all, really nice interior, leather seats, they're heated. But again, nothing too fancy in here, just enough to be comfortable. Out back, pretty much the same story. A nice thing about this car, got a little cargo space there, little utility net. This is like a little shade so that it's kind of a privacy net, I guess, for not being able to see your cargo from underneath the glass, so that's nice. Some people think this kind of looks cheap flopping around, but it does its job. And then this does have a rear mounted battery back here, which is nice, keeps some of the weight in the back of the car. But other than that, there's nothing back here, but it is fairly practical. This is a big spot to put things in if you're ever trying to haul some cargo or go on a trip. So that's that. But like I said before, I really love the look of the car. The lights are just beautiful. I love this. I like that it doesn't have the pop-up style light like the C5 Vet. I think that looks pretty dated at this point in time, but I really love the front end of this. Super sporty and sleek. I love those C7 wheels that we put on. I know some of you guys had mixed emotions on those and like the stock C6 Z06 wheels better, but I really like those. So just a really neat looking car. Now let's go ahead and talk about all the performance upgrades that we're going to be doing this winter. All right, well, we got quite a bit of stuff going on in the shop real quick. I'll just show you a few things. This is a 70 Volvo P1800. This is a really neat car that we bought about 6 weeks ago. This is actually, we've sold it. It is being sent back to Sweden. Really nice San Francisco, California car, zero rust. So that was a neat one to work on. We did a little interior work in it, threw a new carpet set in it. I'll show you real quick. Just a really neat little car. It's got a factory overdrive from that stock on the right-hand side of the steering column, and it's also factory fuel injected. So pretty neat car here. I'm sure one that you're all looking at already is this Camaro. This is a 71 RSSS Z27 code car. This is a factory 350 car, but it is the split bumper, which a lot of people convert these over to, but this is a real RSSS car. It came from the factory with split bumpers, and a pretty limited production year. 71 was a strike year for GM, so this was a fairly low production car. And we've got the interior out of this. We're gonna leave the carpets, but we've got a new PUI seat cover set to go in this, and everything else is gonna stay. It's all nice and original. Factory buckets console car, horseshoe shifter, another pretty neat one, and then some other cars and trucks that we've kind of been working on. Along with over there is my parts car for the Jag XJR, which I will talk about in a video coming up here soon. We'll probably do some coverage of this Corvette as well when we put the 427 big block back in there. But this is what we're all really looking at. This is the set of Cook's headers that I picked up on a Black Friday sale from Cook's. They had a pretty good discount going on for Black Friday, so I decided to go ahead and splurge and treat myself. My birthday was actually a couple days later, so this was kind of my birthday gift to myself. But here we have a set of really nice Cook's long tubes, and I'll show you these here on the floor. These are the 2-inch primary by 3-inch collector headers. They're stainless steel, really high quality, and I'm really excited to put these on the car. They have a really thick mounting flange. Definitely not gonna warp that thing, but these things are just beautiful. It's probably the highest quality header I have ever bought to put on something, and they're not cheap. So the headers and the catless 3-inch X-pipe kit was $1,747, including the Black Friday sale. So this is a really high cost set of headers, but I didn't want to buy something cheap that didn't fit well, that dragged the ground, because it would just kind of ruin the car for me personally. I hate driving somewhere and you pull into a driveway and hear your exhaust practically, you know, scraping off of the car. Just never fun. So I did a lot of research, and it looked like Cook's and American Racing were kind of the leaders in quality as far as fit, finish, and ground clearance went. So I went ahead and got the Cook's. So I'm really happy with these, and I can't wait to put them on the car. And that kind of leads to everything else we're going to talk about for a minute. All right, so getting to the business here, this is, again, the LS7 427 that comes factory in all of these C6 Z06s. And basically what I'm gonna do this winter is completely tear this thing apart. It's honestly kind of a shame for me thinking about taking apart a 30,000 mile car, you know, basically pulling the whole top end off of it. I'm also gonna be pulling the whole front end off of it, just of the car, just for getting to the cam and all that stuff. But I'm gonna be doing heads cam. I'm going to be doing a new intake manifold, a lot of different stuff. And despite what some people have recommended, I am going to go ahead and put a supercharger on this thing. I've been looking at the ECS tuner kits, as well as the ANA kits for centrifugal superchargers. They do have a nice fit over here. This car is almost built to take a supercharger like right here. There's just enough room to tuck one of those in there. And they make really nice kits, both ECS and ANA. So if you guys have any recommendations on supercharger kits for these, please let me know. I'm probably gonna be buying most of this stuff within the next few weeks here. But that's kind of the plan on the car. We're gonna do the long tube headers, catless X-pipe. We're gonna do a stock exhaust, cat back system, I should say, with the dual mode exhaust. I think that'll come in handy because this thing is gonna be really loud with the you know, catless X-pipe long tube headers and cam that I'm going to put in here. I am going to go with the Texas Speed stuff. They're affordable, and they really, you know, they've got some race proven cars, and it seems like they have some really high end equipment down there in Texas. So I'm going to do the CNC porting on the heads, address the valve guide issue, use their 660 springs and one of their TSP cams, which is going to be pretty aggressive. It's going to sound really cool. So I'm planning on doing all this stuff real soon. But I wanted to squeeze this video in for the end of the day here because This is probably the last time I will ever be able to drive this car this year. There's snow on the rooftops. It was actually snowing earlier today, and I got lucky enough that it stopped to take the car out. But that's kind of an update on what I'm doing to the car and my first initial thoughts on it since I've purchased it. Again, I'm super happy with it, and I think you guys are really gonna like how far this thing's gonna come in a pretty short amount of time. It's essentially gonna go from a bone stock Z06 to a pretty radical one. I'm not the most radical, but this is gonna be a pretty stout car when we're finished, and I can't wait to take you guys along for the ride in this thing. All right, so we're back in the home garage here, and the car is parked. I do plan to do all of the work to it up at the shop, but for now there's just not enough room up there to get started until I start selling off a couple more things that we have in there. But I did want to end out the video and just thank you guys very much for all of the support, the positive comments, the subscribers that I've gained. It's crazy to think that this time last year I probably had like 600 subscribers, and we're just getting really close to surpassing that 5,000 subscriber mark at this point. So I really appreciate all your support and all the time that you take to watch the videos. It's very humbling, and I do appreciate all the support. And I promise you guys I am going to start kind of coming out with videos more frequently. My plan for 2020 is to try to get at least 2 to 4 videos out per week, whether it just be updates, ride-alongs in the cars, whatever. I want to create quality content, but I don't want to create this spammy type stuff. And honestly, guys, the reason that I haven't uploaded so many videos this year, you know, there's been a couple occasions where I've gotten on a roll and gotten 2 or 3 videos out, but life's just been so busy this year. It's been one heck of a year. My wife and I had a baby, as I mentioned earlier this spring, and then starting up the new business up there at the shop, which is a little specialty car dealership. I've got so much time invested in those things that making videos has not been a huge priority, but that is going to change here because I do want to grow this and really kind of have some fun with these cars and document it all on the channel. It's, you know, sometimes I'll even look back at some of my old videos, and it's kind of been a useful tool for me, you know, on the El Camino, for example, just refreshing my memory on what I did 4 months ago when I was taking the engine apart or whatever. It's just fun. So I'm going to work on growing this channel here and creating some real quality stuff for you guys. So I do promise I am going to be doing an update on the Jag. For those of you that are interested, this is the Jag XJR R1. And as I just showed you in the last couple of clips, I do have a parts car up at the shop for this. So that's probably something that's going to be going on simultaneously to this. Once I pull the top end off of this and set the headends down to Texas speed, I'll go ahead and start working on this car and really cherrying this thing out. This is going to be a really nice car when it's done, and really fun as well. This is a factory supercharged car. And then, of course, the El Camino down here. I didn't get a whole lot of use out of this car this year just because I was kind of diagnosing some issues with the transmission controller, not the transmission itself, but just some hiccups that I've been having with that standalone Easy TCU. So I promise I will get back to this car as well. It's probably going to be more of a springtime thing. This car really needs a torque converter and a couple other things that I'll get into later. But we've got 3 pretty cool projects here that I think you're all going to like. And I just hope that you guys will tune in soon to see all this stuff kind of come to fruition. With all that said, thank you guys again very much. And if you enjoyed this video, please give it a big thumbs up for me and subscribe to the channel if you'd like to see more automotive content like this. I'm looking forward to seeing you guys next video.